We talk about racism, but at the core of it, from my observation, I've come to realize that Black people care more about acceptance, about assimilating, than racism itself. Welcome to another day of getting ready for work. Imagine I'm on holiday, but the reason why I'm still working on holiday is because it's a personal business, and then I have corporate students who have paid for months, which of course I could have still told them, oh, I'm working, but I just felt like, I would want my customers to go somewhere else. Anyway, many of us who japa, we don't like to talk about racism because we are here focusing on our hustle. So we tend to leave some conversations behind us while we focus on our back. However, I've come to the observation that despite racism, a lot of Black people constantly wait for other people to give them their freedom. They don't take any responsibility for the things that happen in their lives. And I'm going to give examples. So yesterday, when we went out, I was being gisted of this lady. I mean, she was there. I'm going to try to speak minimally so that in case my video, anyone comes across my video, they really can put together who I'm talking about. The conversation was her parents or her mom, who is actually an immigrant herself, but not a Black immigrant, had disowned her because she's following a Black guy. And this was my position, and I want you guys, if you disagree with me, comment in the comment section. This was my position because I've come to a stage where I'm not just going to paint someone a racist for certain actions. And that's not because I downplay racism. No, I don't. I see racism as a very serious subject. However, where I get lost in this conversation of racism is how a lot of Black people do not understand that they are literally also responsible for certain things. We talk about racism, but at the core of it, from my observation, I've come to realize that Black people care more about acceptance, about assimilating, than racism itself. And that is why, for me as a Black person, I would never be that person to say, oh, someone is racist because they don't want to date you, or someone is racist because they can't sleep with you, or things like that, because my day to day experience can never be reduced to the bedroom. I'm not looking for who to date me or who to sleep with me. I just want to have a normal life like a normal person, which after 300 years, we can all come to the conclusion that maybe we would never really achieve these things, because as we speak right now, the so-called oppressors that everybody tries to point fingers at are just 8% and of the world's population. And aside that, you still have internal strife. So you still have an Asian thinking they're better than a Black person. You still have an Arab thinking they're better than a Black person, and things like that. So maybe um while we all point fingers to like one group, maybe it's a human thing. And I'm not saying that to downplay it. I'm saying that because why is it that every time you give a Black person money, for example, they do not remember their own group of people? They always want to get married outside, you know. And not to digress, the reason why I wasn't upset that this girl's mother disowned her because she was with a Black guy was because my own experience, especially as someone coming from Nigeria, I've come to realize that this is currency. Okay, it's currency. When I was in Nigeria, I didn't know that the word was colorism, but even amongst my own people, I knew that they preferred light skin. So you cannot expect someone from another race to want their child to be with you when even you don't see any value in your complexion, you know. And then the conversation went like this. They were like, oh, but if he was a footballer, they would have been excited about the union. And I was like, but that is not the problem of the other party. That is your own problem. Because if as a Black person, you're still not aware that the only time you have value is when you can put food on your table, and you go ahead to be in relationships where if you were nobody, nobody would want you, then that is your problem. Because according to biology, we have the predator and we have the prey. And as much as we try to say, oh, we are humans, we are different, we are that, we are also animals. And so you're either the prey or the predator. So it's not my headache to be bothered about who is dating who, or things like that. You cannot relegate me to the position of a fighter where I am hating on other people because your preference doesn't want you. It doesn't make any sense. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't make any sense. And as a dark-skinned black woman who also knows that, okay, I'm still going to be prejudged by my own people. I'm still going to be denied opportunity by my own people for the color of my skin, you know, even though it's not as much as the West. And of course, based on the way our economy and things are like that, I have opportunities. I can also make it in my own way, you know. It's kind of different. You can't compare colorism to racism, definitely. But just that realization that even your own people, whenever they want to describe a beautiful lady, to describe her with fair skin, with light skin, and things like that, I don't see any rule, I don't see any reason why I should be upset, because if you don't like yourself, why do you want someone else to like you? If you don't see any value in yourself, if I put money in your hand right now and the next person you think you want to be with is someone who is either light skinned or someone of a different race or someone of a different nationality, why do you expect me to be upset with someone from a different race who doesn't want you? It doesn't make sense to me. And I think that that is the part of the conversation that is missing. You know, a lot of people, I mean, since I came to the realization that, um, yes, there may be racism and all of that, but my role to an average black person is the role of a warrior, where I'm going up and down, coming and pro-black, but it's not as if we all progress today, I will be the one to benefit from it. I just took it as a human experience, because we can say all we want, we can quote all the statistics about people that are married to black women, but the real answer to these questions would be, what are the conditions? In what conditions are these women living? You know, in what conditions are they living? So I don't know, but tell me what you think in the comment section, if I'm wrong or if I'm right. You get? But the real question is, how do you expect somebody to value you when you don't even value yourself as a person? You know, how?